Alice from Mississippi, and thanks to the help of some of my classmates, this is take 50 on my integrated workplace analysis. Today I'll be focusing on my nursing job, attentive care, as opposed to the speech path job that I kind of used in some of my discussions, but we'll dive right on in and make this quick. There are four components that I really consider when I think of organizational management, and those are the culture of the environment, the motivational aspect of it, the communication, as well as the ability to implement change if change is needed. So, we're going to speak to a little background about Attentive Care. It's a home health agency that specializes in catering to the home health requirements of children. Simply put, the nurses are dispatched over Mississippi, and we have pediatric clients anywhere from trachs, vents, G tubes, and a host of other needs. The home office is based in Flowood, Mississippi, which is over 2 hours from where I live. But again, they have nurses dispatched throughout the state. Being that the home office is in Flowood, they have two clerical staff members, one with a nursing ground, and a homeowner, all of which have over 10 years of experience within the company. So that's going to be very important when we speak to our discussion. If I was to speak to problems within the company, I would feel like there's a lack of leadership in terms of establishing a work culture, even though we're remotely based, a lack of communication, as well as a lack of motivation. I'm going to speak to examples and hopefully provide some sufficient recommendations. In terms of leadership, I put anonymous here because the reality is I have never met the owner of Attentive Care. I don't even believe I've even spoken with her. And to be quite frankly, I can't say I remember her name. And that's a problem when you're trying to establish a culture for your organization. So you should have a face to the name of a company. You should have a clear, defined mission as to what the company stands for and what they hope to be. When I went on the website, there was no mission, there was no picture of the associates there. So I kind of feel like I'm working for this anonymous employment site and don't have a really good idea as to who they are and their expectations of me as an employee. So the management style is very much laissez-faire, and if I was to speak to the Vroom Jago delegation style, they would definitely be fitting because they delegate to their subordinates. In regards to communication, again, this is a remotely based office who dispatches their nurses across the state of Mississippi. So there is a lot of email and texting and phone calls. And while that's okay in the secular world, in the workplace, you kind of want to have a little bit more of a enriched communication style in order to alleviate some of the things that we've been facing, issues with delayed responses to messages or not getting any responses at all. And that kind of interferes with my ability to do my job because I don't receive the necessary documentation to do the job that I'm set to do. In regards to motivation, we know that Herbert's motivational dual factor theory says that there are some factors that lower your job dissatisfaction, and there are others that kind of give you high satisfaction. While the job is great pay for a new nurse, there's job security. The working conditions that I'm called to work in are kind of unnerving, to say the least. And unfortunately, there's no room for me to grow within the company, and there's no real method to analyze me as a nurse. And as a new nurse, that's really important to me. Am I doing my job in accordance to what the board of nursing would call me to do? Am I doing my job in accordance to what your mission is? So hopefully the recommendations that I provide here will hopefully, help the company progress on into a better climate. The reality is it's a small based business, and that's okay. I love small based business, but unfortunately, they appear to be understaffed, having only two staff members to govern over the whole state of Mississippi. It appears that they need more members there. There's obviously a lack of leadership management because I have not met the owner and she has not expressed to me her mission and her expectations of me as an employee. So there appears to also be a lack of maybe leadership training, even a lack of technological training by way of not properly executing their email component and requirements of the job. And the reality is they might just have limited resources. You have to start somewhere. So hopefully we can help them and encourage them to continue pushing so that they can grow as a company. In order to grow as a company, I would say that management has definitely have to be more hands-on and develop a more participative, a participative style of leadership. Be more hands on. You should know what's going on within your company. You should have a clearly defined mission that we can aspire to. And even if you're unable to do so, I would encourage you to create a video such as this. Post it on the company's website. Introduce yourself. Let us get a feel for who you are, what you're about, and why you established this company in the first place. And then maybe we can have some telephone dialogue after that. I spoke to the fact that our organizational management textbooks defines, texting and emails as a low reach form of communication style. So maybe we can even implement video conferences, maybe quarterly, monthly conferences with all the nurses, or maybe one-on-one, to better gauge what's going on in the field so that she can be more participative even in her absence, in her physical absence. In terms of communication, maybe develop some type of communication log where you state the type of communication that was received, the nature of that conversation, and the actions you plan to take. That's a really good checks and balance system to ensure that emails aren't being put off to the side, because they could very well be emails from the clients, emails from potential employees, and most importantly, emails from the employees themselves in need of the proper documentation and resources to do their job. And lastly, in regards to motivation, ensure that the employees have a safe place to work. While we all have to work, we want to make sure that the place we're going, we can come home from. And I can't speak to the safety aspect of it due to HIPAA, but I believe the management should definitely go in the field at least once, see the type of families you're contracting out to, and provide them with resources if they need it, maybe with social workers, so that they can have an environment that nurses will feel safe going in and providing care. And do maybe wellness calls for your employees. Ask the clients how they feel about the nurses that are going in. Use those wellness calls to gauge the nurses' performance and provide them feedback in regards to their nursing skills. And even use that to create maybe an Employees of the Month program. And that will also motivate the employees to continue to work hard, recommit themselves to the standards set by the company. I hope that these are great recommendations. Obviously, I love pediatrics because I'm a pediatric school-based speech therapist, and now I have a pediatric client in nursing. I consider kids to be small but mighty heroes, and even though Attentive Care is a small company, they too can be heroes in the world of healthcare. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I look forward to your feedback.